this is personal, but I just got out of jail. Like my family disowned me. I was staying with different friends, couch hopping, and eventually they get tired of you being on the couch. So that was a conversation between me and the devil. We just knock on the doors of Kentucky. I mean, I'm not trying to out Kentucky or anything, but this is a real life story. It happened.
Before I entered, he's like, "You don't got any bombs on you, do you?" And he said, "If you go to Kentucky, you're gonna leave with a Kentucky story."
It's like the first question I ask myself: what does this community care about? She tells me before we get to her apartment, she's like, "Just so you know, there's definitely ghosts here." Like the problem with me believing in ghosts,
So hard to really comprehend what the essence of reality is.
right?
Like this universe is billions of years old, but what is a billion years?
Like, oh, you're making friends, you're making connections, but for some reason, like you holding that clipboard in your hand, it's first of all, it's like it feels like it's an immediate turn off for women. It feels like there's a barrier, like your friendship when you're meeting people is like completely transactional. Until I get more stable, like I'm just being abstinent.
How do you care for yourself?
My biggest regret would be yo. Hey.
Yo, it'd be kind of cool to like pop a freestyle here.
Oh my god, I'm so bad at freestyling, like off the cuff. You'd have to like let me know beforehand, and I have to prepare something.
I didn't even think about it really until this moment, until I saw you were like, yo, like
Yeah.
mic check 1 2, like
Right. I mean, I do have unheard verses, so I can spit like any of that shit if there's like a beat or something. Actually,
Okay.
I have all the beats, so I could do like if you want to close out the podcast with like a song or whatever that I have off the new album. It's all unheard right now. So this would be like you would get the exclusive look before the album releases on I'm planning on releasing it on my birthday, December 29th of this year.
Awesome. Well, that's super cool. Well, then at the end of the podcast, we'll play some of it.
Okay, we have that technology available.
To play it through here, we'll find out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. If anything, we can always just play it through the iPhone speakers and just overlay it.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah. So, welcome. If you want to introduce yourself to everybody, what's your name?
So my name is Matthew Honholt. My stage name is Code 7. I'm a local artist from Houston area. And yeah, I'm out here in Florida just collecting marijuana petitions, signatures, and doing my thing.
That's awesome. Well, we met at an open mic in Tampa at Shuffle, which was really cool. So tell me, so right now, where are you traveling and working right now?
Yeah. I did this all over the country. Traveled probably every state except for like 10 maybe that I haven't hit yet. But yeah, that's mainly what I do. That's like my hustle that provides the money for the art.
So right now you're living out of your car and you're collecting marijuana petition signatures, and that's how you pay your bills and just go through life and adventure, right?
Yep, that's it.
That's amazing. How long have you been doing that for?
10 years.
Wow, incredible. That's cool. So where did you wake up this morning?
I woke up in the car and at a Starbucks parking lot is right up the street. I don't know the name of the plaza, but it's like the only Publix. It's like a shopping plaza. It has like a Beal's, Starbucks, and Publix.
That's awesome. Do you ever does anybody come knocking at your door? Like, what are you doing here? Why are you sleeping in this parking lot?
No, like people in Florida, like, bro, Florida is such a crazy state to me. Like, I feel like the cops don't care here, like, at all. Dude, I did an illegal U-turn in front of 2 cops the other day, just like not thinking or whatever. They're both like, you know how like when they're posted up, they're like talking to each other or whatever. I busted that U-turn right in front of both of them. They both like I like made eye contact with them. They watched me do it and then just like went back to their conversation. Like they did not.
Wow.
I feel like they don't fuck with people here unless can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I feel like they don't fuck with people here unless like you're doing something really bad.
I see. So what's the most like strict state you found so far in terms of like cops and everything?
Ooh, Memphis was really rough. Like downtown in the heart of Memphis by like Poplar Street. Like that is where it goes down. There was like a grocery store. I remember I have this like vivid memory. I cannot get this out of my head. I was over there. I was collecting signatures. We were working for first responders or whatever at the time, and some dude pulled into the grocery store, and while he was pulling in, some dude did a drive by, like on his car, like 3 or 4 bullet holes like into the thing, and then they drove off. The dude got out of the car after getting hit with the shells or whatever in Memphis on Poplar Street. Fucking got out of the car, went to go buy groceries. Like I cannot make this shit up. Like just completely unfazed. Like didn't pop a Xanax, didn't do nothing. Like just walked into the store after getting shot at.
Wow.
Right.
And he got groceries, just like went on his life.
Yeah, I saw him whenever he fucking got out, and I was like, "Yo, that was crazy."
Wow. What happens to people like that afterwards? Like, do they, I don't know, report it, or they're just like, well, this
Well,
just happened?
yeah, I mean, like it depends on probably where you're at. I mean, if you're in the suburbs or whatever, then I'm sure some lady will get upset and call the cops. But like down there in Memphis, like in the nitty gritty, like in the hood, like nobody's calling the cops.
What have you noticed about, like, from going through all of these places? What have you noticed about how cops treat people in different places? How do they react, and like, what role do they play in society?
Cops is interesting. Like I'm on the fence. I feel like they're like a necessary evil, but at the end of the day, I think they're just people. Like the rest of us. Like I've had good interactions with cops. I've had bad interactions with cops, and then like definitely the demographic makes a difference. Like down there in Memphis, they like the cops are really aggressive, but I kind of see where they're coming from because you have to be aggressive whenever the city you're policing is also extremely violent and aggressive as well. They got to keep the peace somehow. But yeah, I feel like for the like, I feel like they could probably chill it out on the like traffic violations or whatever.
I see.
Yeah.
What are some commonalities you've noticed amongst people that throughout your travels? Like, what is like some common denominator? Like, pretty much something that almost every single human experiences, or something a human wants, something along those lines. What have you noticed?
Mm, something that every single human experiences. Um, I mean, like I could just speak personally for me. Like, all right, so it is hard to like get to the root of like what people want to hear whenever you're doing that kind of work or whatever. Like I always try to like hit them where their heart is. Like I try to feel like, what does this community care about? That's like the first question I ask myself. What does this community care about, and how is this issue that I'm working on, how does that fill that like gap in their pain or whatever? Like how does like so I mean, I guess universally speaking, the one thing that every human experiences, pain, for sure. And that's kind of like the issue that I talk about on Cold Turkey, except for this isn't other people's pain. This is my pain on record.
And Cold Turkey is your album that you're releasing, is that right?
Yeah. Cold Turkey is the album that I'm releasing. Yeah, hopefully on my birthday, if everything goes smoothly with the engineering, and it looks like things are going pretty good right now. I mean, I just got my third track from my engineer back today, and it's a 13-track album with skits included.
Yeah, when you were performing it, I noticed that you were doing a conversation between you and, I believe the song you said, was it a therapist that you were doing the conversation between?
It was Beauty Sleep. So that was a conversation between me and the devil. Although I do have a song with me and a therapist. I have 7 different voices on the album. It's told from 7 different perspectives, all conflicting parts of my own personality.
I'm really excited to hear that because I feel like that's pretty original, and I would love to just hear what that is and how that ties into who you are as a person.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess for everybody watching, just keep a lookout. Like, I'm trying to make this super accessible to the public. I feel like there's a gap in America specifically about mental health topics. I feel like they're all watered down or like told from the perspective like of a Hollywood narrative. Like we very rarely get like the real unedited, unfiltered truth, and that's like the magic that I tried to capture with that record.
Amazing. Did you feel any sort of like cathartic release when you were making that album?
So no, not really, not like how I was expecting. There wasn't like this like divine, like spiritual awakening that happened after I finished it. I mean, there was like a certain, a sense of relief for like a day after I knew that like all the final polishes were edited out and all the editing was done. Like there was release there, but I mean, the whole time I was writing it, it was basically like the whole time I was writing it, it was basically like some kind of torture chamber, hence to write. Like I had to go through a lot of like personal struggles and like a lot of stuff that I was avoiding putting down, and then the extra pressure of like releasing it to a public where like everybody knows now. So that was like an emotional hurdle, but I did get like a small little release afterwards. Um but it wasn't yeah, it was very short-lived, I guess.
I see. Could you tell me about like the process of you writing that? Like as an artist, like how do you go about writing your songs? You mentioned it was a torture chamber. Was it torture because like creating those songs took effort, or that in addition to, you just experiencing those feelings again?
Well, I mean, a lot of it came from the failure of my first album. So whenever that happened, the failure of my first album, so I went through like a dark depression, and then I came back out of it, and I just like I picked that one thread, like that was the thread that I chose to write on. So I was like, I basically, all right, so like this is my hurt. Like now let's talk about why. You know what I mean? So I wanted to dive into the why of that, and then I basically just tugged on that one thread till it went to like the very end, and that led me all the way through to the end of the album. But like until I like decided to face it directly, like head on, then I basically just had writer's block for like better part 4 or 5 years. Like it was hard for me to write anything down.
Why did you consider your album a failure?
It just didn't do the numbers that I wanted it to. It was literally my like last vestige of hope. At that time, I like this is personal, but whenever I was doing that first album, it was literally the only thing keeping me going. It was like my lifeline. So I was selling drugs at the time. I didn't have this signature gig, or it wasn't as popular as it is now. Um, and so I didn't have like anything to fall back on. And I just got out of jail. Like my family disowned me. Like it was just like a rough patch. So while I was writing that album, I thought that was gonna be like my redemption. So like after I finished it and I didn't receive that redemption, it was like fuck. You know what I mean? It was just like, where do I go from here? Like this was supposed to be the thing that got me high, but I learned a valuable lesson. It's just you're not owed anything. You know what I mean? Just because you make a record, like a lot of people are making records now. So that was just a very humbling experience for me. And then yeah, and then it was also my coping. That's how I got another project out of it.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to how you got started on your journey on the road.
Mhm.
Can you tell me like what led you to starting to travel around, and where were you originally? Um, Walk me through the whole process of you, growing up, and then you finding yourself traveling, collecting these signatures, and going through open mics throughout the country, and just doing your thing.
So yeah, whenever I first got that job, it was just like totally random. Like I was staying with different friends at the time, just like couch hopping, and eventually they get tired of you being on the couch. So I put in a couple job applications on Indeed, and one of the gigs that called me back was like a political gig. It was in like end of 2015, right before Trump started running. I got this weird gig in Kentucky, just knocking doors for some Republican candidates, just like whatever locals that they had, and they just wanted to get their name out there. So we just knock on the doors of Kentucky, and I think I talked to you about that at Shuffle Remix. That was honestly like one of the most memorable campaigns that I ever worked on. It was just it's wild.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me a crazy story about when you were in Kentucky, that like was like one of the crazy. What was that crazy experience?
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
tell everybody.
Yeah, I guess so. Fuck. I mean, I'm not trying to out Kentucky or anything, but this is a real life story. It happened. So we had to ask. They give you like we didn't have phones at the time. Like, well, I mean, I had a phone, but they didn't sync yet. Like, they didn't have the apps that they have now. So they gave us a Palm Pilot, and that Palm Pilot like had like a list of questions on it. And one of the questions on there was like, what's the biggest issue in your community? Probably just fishing for information for their locals to, have talking points when they do debates and stuff like that. But yeah, I told one guy that, and we were in the Hollards of Kentucky, and yeah, this dude came to the door and he was like, I said, "What was your biggest problem?" And he was like, "Multiculturalism." Like that was his answer, and I was like, "Oh." Like, and I don't know what possessed me to ask, but I was like, "You should elaborate."
Hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, I don't like people that don't look like me," which was it was crazy. Like, that was my first like real experience with like real racism, like out in the open. And it was just like, dude, I'm like looking this dude in his eyes, like we're as close as me and you are right now. So it was crazy.
Wow. How would you compare that to like the general population of like Kentucky? Like, how is America's sentiment towards multiculturalism? Would you say, as compared to that extreme example?
Oh, like America in general, I think we're doing pretty good. Like, I think this is probably the best it's ever been. Like, there's still more work to do, but I think like people are starting to wake up now. Like, like more of that's like, we had our phones, we got our devices. Like, it's a lot harder to get away with doing crummy stuff. So
Yeah. Well, when I was in Kentucky, I told you a story at Shuffle Remix. Like when I was riding my bicycle through Kentucky, and I had sprained both of my wrists after falling off a bike, and I was going to a local high school, and I went onto the door. I'm like, is there a school nurse, somebody that can help me? There's really nothing out there. And then a cop came, and he was like, what's up? What's the deal? And he ended up calling like an EMT, and he helped me out. And he ended up trying to drive me back to a park where I was staying. And before I entered, he's like, "You don't got any bombs on you, do you?" Like, my name is Yusuf, and the like Middle Eastern, like, I guess maybe people have a different impression towards like Middle Eastern
right,
people.
right, right.
So I thought that was like really interesting. But I found that the people there, after getting past like my name and then who I am, like they were super friendly and open. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I love the whole state of Kentucky. Like, honestly, you guys, like, shout out Kentucky. Like, you guys are a good time. like it's crazy. Like, I mean, for every, and that's the thing too. Like, for every bad experiences, there's like a good one to compliment with it. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many people like offered me moonshine. Like, just the amount of raw stories that I've gotten from just being in Kentucky for a short amount of time was like totally worth that one weird experience.
yeah, I recall back to a time when before going to Kentucky, I asked somebody like, "How's Kentucky?" And he said, "If you go to Kentucky, you're gonna leave with a Kentucky story."
That's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly right. I might steal that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. Uh, what's a night you'll never forget throughout your travels and just in your life in general?
Night I'll never forget. Oh, that's tough on the spot. Um, I don't know. I feel like I've had like oh, okay. All right. How do we feel about Ghost? Did you talk about Ghost on here?
Hey, go for it, man. This is episode 1.
All right, cool, cool. All right, so most memorable night I guess was man, like I don't know how I feel. I'm putting like a lot of personal stuff on there, but I guess I already talked about it on the record, so fuck it. So we went to New Year's. All right, it was a New Year's party. We were in Anchorage, Alaska,
Hmm.
and there was a really fucking dope bar out there. I forget the name of it. I want to give him a shout out. Maybe it'll come back to me later. But it was New Year's. We're at this bar in Alaska, and the whole crew that we were working with, we were like celebrating the end of the campaign. We all unanimously agreed for New Year's, we wanted to do Molly. So there's a problem though. None of us had any Molly, so we had to like go and find it. So we're at the bar, and I just randomly asked this one chick. I was like, "Do you know where to find it?" She's like, "Yeah, I have some in my apartment." And I'm like, "Oh, perfect." So that wasn't the most memorable part. Like that, like, all right, cool, lucky. But the memorable part, she was like, "All right, you have to come with me." So I went with her to this apartment or whatever. And then like as soon as she opened the door, there's like this staircase that you go up or whatever, and then like it reminded me of like a hostel that you would see in like the movies or whatever, but it's like it's just like a motel like hostel kind of situation. You go up the stairs, the building's inside, you make a right, there's this like long hallway with a bunch of doors or whatever. And then like as we're navigating through all this, she tells me before we get to our apartment, she's like, "Just so you know, there's definitely ghosts here." And I was like, "Whoa." And then yeah, so like I was just thinking about that the whole time. I didn't see any, so like spoiler alert. But yeah, we went back there. She got us the Molly, and then we got back to the club, and then she like randomly, I don't know what possessed her to do this after it wasn't a club, it was a bar. We got back to the bar, and she like randomly grabbed my hand. She's like, "I read palms," like, and she showed me. She's like, "You got 2 lifelines right here." I was like, "Whoa." She's like, "You've died before," and I was like, "There's no way that you could have known that by like looking at my hand," because I did. I died from an overdose. I talk about it on the record. Um, and like that wasn't the part that freaked me out. The part that freaked me out, she's like, "You can see things that aren't there," and I was like, "Whoa, I'm definitely gonna lose sleep over this." But yeah, probably the most memorable thing that sticks out in my mind, Alaska. Shout out to actually, I still have her number, I think.
Uh, so, going back to what you said about like seeing things that don't exist, do you feel that you see things that don't exist?
I don't know. Like it's like one of those weird things. Like, I see you, I'm hear you, I'm talking to you, but like I don't know. That's like another idea that I explore on Cold Turkey is like, with the simulation theory or like what is reality? You know what I mean? I feel like not enough people are questioning that. And then those are like some questions that I impose on the album. Really just like diving into it, because like science can't prove that e- like you or anything else exists. It's all just like atoms and carbon and or whatever. Like the only thing that we know for certain is that we exist. So it's a little weird to think about.
It's very interesting.
Right.
So, tell me about. Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't know. Like the problem with me believing in ghosts, like I mean I think everybody has like the cupboard shuddering like experience or whatever. Like I always found that those are like the weakest ghost stories. Because like so what?
Mhm.
Like some cupboards moved. But I do have some like weird childhood experiences, and that's another thing. Like paranormal stuff is always happening to like young kids, it seems like. But like when you're an adult, you don't have any like your filter, I guess, is on. Maybe I don't know what it is. But the problem with ghosts is like I want to believe that they're real. It's the same thing with like UFOs or like Bigfoot or anything like the Loch Ness monster, anything that's
Mm.
like out of the ordinary. I want to believe it, so therefore I have to like question like why did I want to believe it so hardly. But I mean, if they are, then it's cool. I just know that there's a lot of things that I don't know.
Yeah. I believe that maybe ghosts do exist, but maybe not in the traditional sense where they're like phantom, like white gown, like
Right, right.
2 eyes like that. Like one time I was in Atlanta and I was riding those Lime scooters and it was like 11, 12 p.m. I don't know, this is kind of stupid, but I basically rode through it in the middle of the night, 30, 40 minutes down through the streets, like just following my GPS back to the Airbnb I was staying at. And I went through this bridge underneath there. And I just felt this like crazy like energy, like something horrible happened right there. Like it felt like a person got raped there and their energy was just like splattered everywhere. They're just like some
Mm,
feeling in that area that I just
right. Like you
goosebumps
just
all the
feel it in
way.
the pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a ghost, I think.
Right, right. Like the like traumatic memory imprint that just like, you can feel just by experiencing past that. Yeah, I do have one thing that like is similar to that, but like I'm like that with like objects. Whenever I see someone with like a messy room or like a messy car or like, something with this like objects like scattered everywhere, like I feel like I can feel the objects like trying to tell me stories and I'm like trying to piece it together like clues or whatever. Like if there's like a torn condom wrapper and like, you know what I mean? I'm just like constantly like, I don't know. Like I feel that energy though. I'm like, oh, these objects have like permanence. Like they have a memory that we can't like access. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, even like in this room, like literally me touching here, like my fingerprint is there. Somehow, some way, any action, movement that we make somehow like affects how everything is,
Mm,
however small it is. Like even after Earth dies, everything is just like let's say all the planets, everything dies. Just the way that I'm moving my arm right now is somehow, some way going to affect how something somewhere, like maybe millions of light years away, like from like atomic scale, is going to like maybe an atom's going to be here instead of there just because I did this right now.
right, right, right. That's like Newton's law. Like, every action has like an equal or opposite reaction. Um, but I definitely believe in multiple timelines. Like part of the inspiration for the story was like that near death experience or whatever. I played with the idea of what if I actually did die in that one timeline and I'm on like another timeline and I just remembered this one but not the one where I died. You know what I mean? So like I'm like kind of like Rick and Morty esque, like infinite realities on infinite different planes or whatever. Um, I do believe in that, I think.
Yeah, I was watching a really interesting video by this YouTube channel called Kurtzegart, and they have like a kind of a scientific explanation to like how that works based on like literally on a quantum physics level. I'm not a physicist or anything like that,
Right.
but basically like when you go deep down, like beyond an atom, everything kind of moves like randomly. Like there's like a maybe like a light particle goes this way half the time and halfway this time, but it's completely random, and they can like measure it like in such a precise way mathematically that it just makes sense. Of course, I'm not a physicist. There's probably some inaccuracies, but I think that's the gist of what the
Mm.
concept is. And there's like a scientific way of explaining that, which I find really fascinating. I feel that a lot of people, and including myself, just kind of default to thinking that everything is linear, you know? It's like, but they're
Mm.
just, it's so hard to really comprehend what the essence of reality is.
Right.
Like this universe is billions of years old, but what is a billion years? Like, it's so hard to even think of that. Like,
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, and that's the kind of the construct that I'm playing with. Like the story that I tell in Cold Turkey, it's completely non-linear, and there's like multiple access points. So like whichever song that you feel like you're vibing with the most, like it sucks you in. You know what I mean? And then you're like in this alternate reality, like warp timeline, and it just like it takes you for the ride. And you're like, I basically made it to like, okay, this is my life here. You survive this. So you know what I mean? Let's see like what you can do.
mhm.
But yeah, the non like yeah, I totally agree with the non-linear. Like I think that we're seeing a new wave of artists that are gonna start like um you know like being more aware of this like going forward. I think in art and stuff like that.
Very interesting. Let's see. Do you feel rootless or like you're rooted everywhere?
Rootless.
Like, you know how you travel across, like you're constantly somewhere else, waking up somewhere new. Do you feel like you're rooted by somewhere, someplace, maybe a feeling of home, or do you feel that everywhere is your home?
No. So I definitely like. I know it sounds like I just like I'm gone a lot. Like, but I still make it a point to go home for the holidays. I call it like my if life is oh fuck I'm quoting Rick and Morty here, but If I butchered, I'm sorry. So it's like if life is your experience, then or like a subscription, then uh basically your family gatherings is your monthly payment. You know what I mean? So I love my family, and we go back and we visit, and I spend time like at home, reminisce over like childhood stuff. That kind of stuff keeps me grounded, and thankfully I make enough money where I can go back home for like major events or whatever. Like if somebody in the family passes or whatever, I can scoot back over there. But yeah, definitely Houston is my home base. That's why I represent with the cap, like everywhere I go.
Do you have any regrets in your life that you would want to share?
Ooh, um, yeah. Did I want to share though? That's the second part of the question. Definitely have regrets. I don't know how many I want to share. And I'm trying to think of. I guess we can pull something from the album. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like you try to say that you live your life without regrets. Like that was like kind of like my take on the first album. Like fuck it, no regrets. You only live once. But like now that I've gotten older and I've like reflected, I think my biggest regret would be like refusing to live like like it was my last day or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Just like if you only had 24 hours to live, like what would you be doing with that time? So, I just try to like trick myself into believing that I'm dying sometimes so I can like it's like my way of motivating myself. But like I think my biggest regret is like it's like a fear of not being remembered, not doing something with my life that could impact somebody positively, that could make a good change in society, or like fill a need that we don't currently have. Like I'm constantly racking my brain for stuff like that, and I think my biggest regret is like whenever I do actions that fall short of that. You know what I mean? Um, 'Cause it's hard to do all the time, you know what I mean? Everybody likes to, like, numb out, watch their favorite TV show, freaking, doom scroll on their phone or whatever it is, like, but yeah, I think whenever I stay too far in that safe zone, that's whenever I start, like, feeling that feeling of regrets, the most, I think.
One of my biggest regrets in life is when I was younger, I wanted to be a soccer player, and I just never happened. I didn't put in the time, didn't really know where to go. But I feel like there's also something really powerful about that, because once you experience that like powerful like regret, you have the opportunity to know that the next time when you do have like a dream or something that you really want to do deep in your soul, like you know the pain of not doing it. So when the opportunity comes for you to do it, like for me, it was like making music and rapping. Like
Right.
I was like, I have to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like we only get a couple of like true like soul yearnings in our lives, and I think it's our job to fulfill it. And regret isn't always a bad thing.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I'm starting to learn that as I get older. Definitely have like, failed relationships, like friendships that I could have done better by. Just and yeah, and missed opportunities for sure.
You connect with a lot of people by just traveling around and getting petitions. What advice would you have for anybody that wants to connect more with people, just talk to people in more comfort?
Okay, so this is like a two-layered answer because I mean it sounds cool on paper, you're like approaching people with the petition. You're like, "Oh, you're making friends, you're making connections," but for some reason, like you holding that clipboard in your hand, it's first of all, it's like it feels like it's an immediate turn off for women. It feels like there's a barrier, like your friendship when you're meeting people is like completely transactional. So I basically have to go through like these hundreds of interactions a day just feeling like a total robot. And I try to like, mix it up, make it personal or whatever. With that being said, I did make a lot of close friends, like friends that I wouldn't have made not being on there. But as far as advice goes, I'd just say like to me, it just I never gave up searching for something. Like I never found a home. I used to work at Target. I used to work at Walmart. I was a cart pusher there. I never found I was a bartender. Like I never found a home in these like comfortable like jobs because I would just get complacent. So like with the traveling, I would say like just make a plan and then just do it. I mean, you don't need much, to do it. But it is kind of a sacrifice. Like everything is at home. Your iPad, your TV, your freaking couch. So like it's brutal. It's not for the faint of heart, but for me it works because I just have like a strong belief in myself that like somehow, some way that this is gonna work out. Like, and just no real safety net either. Just going for it. I'd say just go for it. That's my advice.
Nice. Yeah, I used to work a sales job at Costco doing Zip Fizz where every single person walking by, I would be like, hey, you need some energy? Like literally, I'm trying to sell them these like energy drinks
I
things.
felt it. That was the energy right there. You gave it to me.
But yeah, that feeling of like it taking something that's like kind of raw and personal and then like into like a commodified world. Like I also feel that with like art as well.
Mm.
Art is such an emotional thing, something like true you put out, and then like nowadays, like promoting it, this, that. It's like it's hard. It's sometimes hard not to like turn it into like a machine. Like
Mm.
it's like something with a heart.
Yeah, no, I had to rethink my entire rollout strategy for this album. So I'm not gonna be rolling out the album traditionally in that way. To me, the most sacred way for music is the way that we've done it, like I don't know, like close to 100 years ago, like where it was like passed down from friend to friend. Like, so I mean, I'll post a couple targeted ads or whatever, but like mostly I want to be like in the trenches with people. I want to be like talking, communicating, and I want this to be like a shared experience, not like a ego fulfilling thing where I'm like, oh, look at me, like I can make music, like you know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of that, and I want it to be more sacred. So that's like the route that I decided that I was gonna do this time.
It's amazing. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's gonna be a good business strategy.
Hey, you'll find out.
I'm sure there's like some business people like watching right now that are like, that's not how you do it.
You gotta post on social media 5 times a day, dude. How are you gonna reach people like that?
Right, right.
Hey, man, I think that's really cool. I like from talking to like a lot of artists, like they just want to post on social media, which is something I'm doing too, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
consistently. It's but I feel that like I want to figure out a way to do it more organically and just more naturally
Mm.
without like, I guess like I don't want to use the word prostituting myself on the internet, but like I want to keep it real, organic. But sometimes like I'm just I'm like, why am I doing this right now? It's like, what is that motive?
Right, right.
Like,
And to me, like I'm just incapable of using like social media platforms in general. Like I need to find a person to do my social stuff because like I don't know if I'm like just too sensitive for it, but like I'll scroll through and then like I'll always feel this like void after I get on. Doesn't matter what it is, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Like I mean, I'm guilty of it sometimes, but afterwards, like I never feel better. Like even if I'm doing something productive for myself, like it's not the same as like I don't know, just like actually going out and doing things. I guess like it just doesn't hit that nerve for me, I guess. I don't know.
how do you care for yourself?
Oof. Definitely definitely eat good. I try to eat good, try to get a full 8 hours, um, try to sleep, and yeah, I mean just reach out to people even though I don't want to, like most of the time. Like just like one human connection a day, like I guess is good. Like even if it's just like, hey, I was thinking about you or whatever. Like I think that would be like my self-help recipe, just making sure I'm talking to people, eating good, sleeping good. Um, then yeah, everything else I feel like it's just extra.
How do you build on existing relationships while you're traveling?
I don't like I cannot have like a real long lasting relationship. I learned that with like the last couple of girlfriends that I've had. So now I'm just until I get more stable, like I'm just being abstinent. But you know, I try to grow. You know, I'm getting a lot older. I try not to mess around as much as long if it's not meaningful. I'm like upfront, honest about everything. Like as soon as I meet a person that I'm interested in or whatever. But it's really hard, you know, without that like core like close friends and family. Like outside of that, it's it's not easy.
What would you tell yourself before starting on this traveling journey?
Ooh, just don't give up. I guess. Yeah, like just keep going. Like it's gonna be good times. It's gonna be bad times. You know you're gonna experience things. You're gonna you know I don't know. Just don't give up. Keep going. If you fall, get yourself back up.
How do you deal with the feeling of not having a safety net?
Mm, by working.
Working?
Yeah, just throwing myself into the work. You know, until something happens. Like, you know, I feel like there's nothing else to do. Like except for work. Like what else? What would I be doing?
Hmm. Is it stressful?
It is stressful. Like a lot of people will call me and tell me vocally that they don't know how I deal with the stress of it all. Um, I just don't think about it. It's just like it's a working part of my mind at this point. So, you know, like if I spent all my day thinking about like you know, what if this doesn't go right or what, you know, like that's just gonna be my new life. So I don't know if I like push it down or whatever, but like I definitely don't actively think about it. It pops up and I'm just like, oh hey, and then it just goes away. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that's a good way of dealing with it, but yeah, that's how I deal with it. I just don't think about it.
I see. What is the most unique skill set you've gained in your life?
Mm. Well, the thing that's cool about like petitioning and so is I'm constantly developing my communication skill set. So, you know, I'm constantly like learning from different cultures and different languages and you know, definitely learning how to speak the language of the place that I'm in. Like everybody has their own little like, weird little nuances or whatever, but it's definitely given me like a broad range of like communicating and being more effective communicating, which words to use, which words not to use. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's given me that. That has been my biggest weapon in my repertoire is just like the ability to expand how I communicate with other people. I think.
What's a practical tip you'd give somebody who's struggling to communicate with people?
Ooh, um, reading books or like listening to podcasts. Find somebody that you like respect that you enjoy listening to. Um, for me, I've role models. Those are the ones that kind of like help shape like how I communicate. Um, huge Jordan Peterson fan, definitely huge Eminem fan. Like anybody that like I don't know that I respect and that has dealt with obstacles that I dealt with and it explained how to get over it like with ease in a way that I understood it. Those are the people that I kind of like I'll literally stop what I'm doing to like listen to that. You know what I mean? Because that helps me. Um, just like understand and communicate. So yeah, I'd say just you know keep looking and like now we're in like the golden age of technology and all that other stuff. So you know we can essentially just like pick and choose. You know like what we pay attention to.
See, how do you maintain your like focus in this crazy world
Mm.
into like something that you love? For example, like podcasts, without getting distracted into like a million different rabbit holes into a million different places.
Yeah, distraction. Ooh. Um, so I just I don't know. It sounds corny, but it's just like I literally just clear my mind. Like so, I really like the Waking Up app that his name is the atheist philosopher guy. The app's called Waking Up. It's a guided meditation app. I strongly recommend that. Like just 15 minutes in the morning
Mhm.
will do wonders. I mean, I'm not good about doing it every morning, but like definitely if I get overcluttered, like a quick like meditation reset like on that app, like that will clear out most distractions, I think. Um but yeah, or just being aware, just being aware of what the distractions are. Um, like for me, a lot of the times it was drugs and women. Like I had to definitely cut those things out, or at least do it more healthily.
What advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with that?
Mm, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like honestly, like I think the biggest pitfall on like these like addict because I have like an extremely addictive personality. So I think the trap that I fell into was I thought that I was the only one that felt that way. And like I felt like I couldn't communicate with people. So like whenever I finally got over that fear and then I finally reached out, then I quickly realized it's like, oh, like fucking I'm just a human like everybody else is, and I'm dealing with the same thing that other humans deal with. Like and I think it's crazy, like because I would I found inspiration in the weirdest places because I did Uber driver too.
Mhm.
And then like whenever I was going through something like a breakup, I remember just like asking my Uber passengers. I was just like, what do they think about that? And like the advice that I got from like just random people, like, these are like nurses, these are construction workers, whatever, regular people, like was amazing. Like it was really good. And, part of that was just asking.
What's one of the most what's the most memorable advice or one of them that just really
Oh
stuck
yeah,
out to
yeah.
you?
So the one from the girl that I was talking about with the breakup, she told me that um relationships are 50% business and 50% love, and that like really stuck with me.
Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean basically like like you have to have like an unspoken agreement. Like you guys can love each other, but there's still practical things that you guys got to deal with. Y'all got to deal with bills. You got to deal with living together in the same space. You got to deal with boundaries. You got to deal with all this other stuff. So like I think a clear line of communication with that. That's what at least what I took from it, like the business aspect of it. And then like, the love is really important. Um the one thing that I would probably like add to that equation is like freedom. Um I think it's necessary, that everybody can do what they want to do. I don't like being told what to do, so I wouldn't want to tell anybody else what to do.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to tell the world?
Tell the world. Um, no, I mean we're still here. Like we're still doing the thing. Like I'm proud of all of us. We're alive and we're doing our thing, and I'm excited for what the next chapter is gonna be. So yeah, just keep an eye out. It's Code 7, Heir to the Throne. If you found yourself in the story, then keep an eye out for Cold Turkey, because like that's who I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to reach the people that don't have voices, that have been silenced by like society or outside external factors. So I'm speaking to the people that I feel like lost hope like I did. So in a way it was kind of like me writing a letter to my former self, and just reaching a hand back. Cause I didn't really get one. I mean, I had a couple of people help here and there, but like I needed like real help. So, I had to give it to myself. So now that I'm out, like I, want to pay it forward.
Do you want to share the snippet of your song or
All right, we can do it a cappella.
okay?
All right. Made it quiet, earn that peace. Used to wake to the knocks and the shakes off beat. Used to gamble on days that might not survive. Now I write like a man who already died. Deep in the mix with the wolves and the wires, where the dope came cheap. The soul got tired. Phone rang loud with a name you fear. Knock mint blood to the vibe not clear. I'm not speaking in code, just breath I kept. Slept in clothes that crumbs never left. Move with hands that won't wash clean. Still wake up in a court through lucid dreams. Pain in the verse turned trap to psalm. The roots in the dirt till the ghost felt calm. Not proud, I'm proof that the flame don't fade. Teaches peace in a darker way with the man I was. Ones I lost. Friends I lost when the wires crossed. Now wrapped in a place where the fear won't bite. Breathe through bars where the dark leaks like. Wrote help on the glass and wiped it clean. Hope help might split into some kind of drain. Sit in the booth with the vest and names. And I call my urn from the way to blame. You don't get this tone from a peaceful place. Get it from the nights where the light won't stay. When the trust runs dry, pain cuts sharp. Will hold strong as the world falls apart.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're the first guest. I think you're awesome. I'm so excited to see your journey and your story and everything, man.
I'm excited to see this episode when it comes out.
Absolutely, yeah. Hey, appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Episode 1 of Wanderverse. I haven't even come up with a podcast name yet.
Oh man, we gotta come up with one.
Wanderverse. Welcome to the Wanderverse.
I love that.